Hi there, it's Mishka, and we're talking business again today. Let's talk business. I hope you're enjoying our program. It's short, it's only 20 minutes long. And for that reason, I'd like to encourage you to really keep your eye on our website, mishka.com. You'll find blogs and a little bit more information. And we are also planning on putting far more on there for you to look at and to help you. It's growing. We're moving towards a point. So these times that I spent with you is only a 20-minute where I like to talk to you. And, a lot of what we do in business is also a mindset. So I'm going to talk to you about things, but I can't teach you everything. I can't show you everything. I can't give all the advice that everybody wants me to give because that's not what I'm here for. But certainly, I do believe that it will make a big change in your life, because when our thinking changes about something, when this is right, then we can do so much more. But don't forget, participate, never stays the same. There's always something coming onto the website, something new happening. We are looking to do research and get good links for you so you can go and get some information from the website that might make your life a little bit easier. So that's mishka.com. Today I'd like to talk to you about your business being a separate entity from yourself. Now people can say, well, that's the way it should be, but you would not understand the impact it has on people when they don't understand the fact that the business that I'm running is actually a separate entity from who I am. So that business is something that we form. I'd like for you, if you are planning on having a business, if you have a business, or if you've ever been running a business, perhaps in a smaller capacity, and that business you've got, you still have yourself, and you may be a sole proprietor, and it doesn't have an entity or a form outside of who you are. It's very, very difficult to then see yourself almost detached from it at times. Remember, I said previously that you are the driving force, so your business is coming from where you are at, but it has to be something separate from where we are. We need to be able to detach ourselves very often from our business, because the business is going to go through difficulties. The business is going to go through challenges. Now, can you see, if I see myself as part of that, and I have not in my mind separated as an entity outside of myself, then everything that's now coming against my business, I'm going to take personal. And that's not how we run. You can't stay strong in business. So if you're a business owner, if you manage a big organization or even a small organization, you have to see that as an entity outside of yourself. If you're forming your own business, from the word go, it is always better to see it as something outside of yourself. So everybody that would be in my groups, people I would speak to, people I would advise, I would always say to them, you give it a name, an identity, and that's what we do, don't we? It's got to be something outside of ourselves, and literally see it as something different. So when the problems come to the business, it doesn't come to me. And it's skill. It's skillful. If you've got to come to a place where somebody will criticize your business, not to take it personally, is really, really important. Because it's very much at that point when somebody actually come against what we've done, what the business has done, and because we love our businesses, not really love them, but I mean, we are so part of them and we're passionate about what we do and we put ourselves in it. Now, somebody comes in and they criticize what we're doing, which is absolutely normal. It's going to happen. Oh man, I actually think it should happen more often than what we're ready for. Because when we take some forms of criticism as positive, we can only grow from it. But once we see ourselves, me as a person, or even if you're a family business and your family now gets hurt, somebody comes in against your children or your spouse or anything, we understand that that's a different mode I'm in. When you come against my child, or say for instance my husband, then you're coming against me, and I will say, hey, I become personally involved. But when we talk about that is an entity outside of myself, everybody even working in it is part of a organization, and that has a name. Even if I have to make a decision where I am in a business at the moment, and even when family or people that I deeply care for could even sometimes be involved in the business, it makes it far easier for me to make a very good decision, even about them, because I don't see it as myself any longer. I am now a separate entity from that. So if anybody would come in and give a bad report about the business or something has happened, it's very easy to say, I do apologize, and we are most definitely going to shape up. We're going to get better, you see. Those are one of the major things in life, that if you make that decision at the moment when the criticism comes and when the difficulty comes, when you can separate yourself as an individual and stay strong. So you and I and any business leader and anybody out there that's an entrepreneur need to stay strong ourselves. We need to be separate. We need to see ourselves as healthy. We need to see ourselves as we're not dependent on this organization. We are the ones that's driving that. So if anything goes wrong in that, it is not something that can harm me. Definitely not. It must be that. So it's too often people take it. They are across lines. It's very unhealthy for any business person to be in that space. Don't cross the lines. Make sure that when you close your door to your business, that's it. Nighttime, finished. I'm now having time with my family, or whatever you do, your hobbies. That is very, very important. You know, when I say it's a separate legal entity, often people also don't see their businesses as a separate legal entity. And when we run, for instance, some people run a sole proprietorship, then there could be confusion in terms of finances. Because how do we run our books? Where do I come in? Where's my business income? How do I spend the money? Do I know how much money my business make? Do I know? You know, can I separate the two? So personally, I would always advise that you keep yourself separate and pay yourself a separate salary regardless of your business entity. Even if it's, I would imagine, even if it's a sole proprietor, even just have a separate account and understand this is mine. This is what I'm going to take to live off. But that certain part should stay in my business, because I've got to strengthen my business. I've got to keep it. I've got to run it. I've got to make sure it actually pays itself. It's got to pay its own costs. You see, having that separate entity registered, making sure it is a sound beginning, sound foundation. Remember, we spoke about that. Now, you may have run your business for many years and not even thought about this. There are people I know out of experience that would run a business and have excellent skill in what they're doing. And they get into their car and they go and give the service, and that's it. I'm getting the money, whatever. You know, get paid into my account. They don't run proper set of books. Got no idea what's really coming in, what's going out. Don't know what's cash, and stuff like that. That creates chaos. And very quickly, a business can actually lose its identity, and the person can come for advice and say, look, man, I need you to help me as a business consultant. I need help here. But the basis is not right, because if I've got to help you, the first thing I'll tell you is your business has got to run as its own. It's got to be protected as its own, and you've got to be protected on your own. Separate legal entity of a PTY Limited, the new version of the PTY Limited is very easy to form. It is obviously, all of you know that there is not a CC that you can form any longer, but the new version of a PTY Limited is relatively simple. It's easy, but it gives you a separate entity for your business. And it's got a separate name. And I want you to think about your business as that. I want you to think about your business as something there that is good, that is solid. If anything comes in and it goes wrong, if anything, then it goes wrong with me again. What am I doing to secure my business? You see, when the two are so interlinked all the time, it's dangerous. It's not good. It's not protecting your entity. It's not protecting you. It's not protecting the people that may work for you. And now people might come to me for advice and say, but I don't understand. I'm not growing. I can't understand it. You know, there's a lot of business, but I can't grow. There's not, like, I can't go forward. It's all part of this. It's all part of having a sound foundation. It's all part of running it in such a way that you know this is safe. I've got an entity up there. I know and understand exactly. It's registered. It is done above board. You know, it's very interesting for me to see. And obviously, when I used to do that, I don't do consulting work anymore as a business consultant. I simply don't have the time. But ethically, we have to. People can't come to us and say, look, I want you to help me, but they're not running a sound business. If people aren't registered for what they've got to be registered for, ethically, I have to advise them. You've got to do that. I can't leave you. I can't say to somebody, it is okay. You see, if you're not registered with SARS, if you're not paying tax, if you're not doing the right thing, and your business everything starts to go wrong, it can absolutely, you can lose everything that you've got. And so I want to say to you, if you are a business owner and you're serious about business, understand it's got to be separate from yourself. It's got to be governed, which we're going to talk about next week. It's got to be governed separately from who you are. You've got to make sure that there is a sound foundation in your business. And then also, when I have a house, let's say, for instance, I go to the bank, I buy a house. Now, I know I've got to take care of it, isn't it? I know that I cannot just leave it, paying monthly to the bank and whatever, and then the house just goes. No, I take care of it because this is my investment. So a house we can see. We know that we've got this house, we're going to move into this house, we're staying there, we know we want to sell it later on for a profit. If we do not have a properly registered business with its own identity, and until we can see that identity, and until we can treat it like something separate from ourselves, we don't understand the impact it has. And when that thing grows, every single moment of my life that I spend in business is a moment that I'm investing. And when we're going to talk about time and investment of time, you're going to understand more what I'm telling you today. When you are thinking about every single hour that you put into your business, and if your business is not registered properly, if you're not paying everything that you're supposed to be paying, and you don't see this as a growing entity that is supposed to give you a return on investment, it won't happen. Because we steer our lives. Things don't just happen by chance. Nothing in business is just going to happen by chance. Of course, when we give a good service, of course, when we do things right, well, then it's going to get to the next level and people are going to start to come to us and we're going to become more popular. We can spend so much money on things, on marketing, on new things that we want to bring in. The business is not registered. It does not have a good set of books. It does not show what has happened during the year. Then it's got no value. If a person wants to buy the business, what are they going to buy? You can't sell the couple of things that you bought. You've got to sell the value in your business. And the only way you can reflect value in your business is if you run it properly. It goes through the books and you've got an accountant that reflects every end of the year, this is where we stand. You see, there is a reason why we have to register. We need to get our mindsets right. We need to understand that when that thing is done properly, when I've paid everybody that needs to be paid, I'm running an organization. It doesn't matter if I employ 1 person, 2, 10 or 100 or whatever. I'm running an organization. When that thing is going to grow and the profit is going, this company is starting to become profitable, it can never become a danger to me. You see how important it is to have everything in place. Because as it grows and as it expands, the chances of us actually getting into trouble if it's not done properly is actually more. So if you run a type of, sort of business, but half-hearted and, I'll just pay whenever I think it's right, or I use a simple example, it's a legal requirement for us when we have staff and have staff employed, that they have contracts and that they run in absolute, they must know where they stand. We're dealing with human beings. It is frightening to see how many people run businesses and they tell people, okay, you can just start work for me tomorrow, and they never give them a contract, they never pay them on time. They don't pay over the UIF, they don't pay over the stuff. That's illegal. It is wrong to do business that way. There is a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. So in Let's Talk Business, I would like to encourage you to get your mind right and say to yourself, first of all, my business is a separate entity from myself. And when that business goes in under attack, or anything goes wrong, any criticism comes out in it, I have to be separate from it. So I have to know that I'm strong. I have to make sure that whatever is going to come into my business, whatever is going to hit there, I must be the one that can steer it. I must be the one that can stand up and say, okay, if it is negative criticism, anything goes wrong, what am I going to do? I've got to stay strong. When I'm part of my business, when I see myself as an individual and the business where the two of us are the same, very difficult, because we take that attack or that thing that's come against us or that thing that's going wrong in the business, we take it personal. And the moment we do that, it's very, very dangerous for your business, because the business might come to a place where it actually then can't function anymore, because the owner or the people steering this business is not thinking clearly anymore. Remember I said to you previously that business is not easy. Business is tough. But when we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And when you do it right, you're going to start to enjoy it, because all of a sudden, you're going to be a true business person. So not just saying, well, I think I've got a business, or, yeah, I don't know how much money I made last year. You need to be exact. You need to know how much money you've made. You need to know how much I'm making today. Am I making anything? What am I spending? Am I spending too much? Am I spending the right amount? What am I doing? Do I have a budget? Are we running business? Are we doing it in the right way or not? It is vital in order for you just to enjoy it, because the moment you set it up right, your business is actually going to become something that you can enjoy. Because as things go wrong, whatever you've set up in the beginning is in place, and it can actually guard you. It can be a safeguard. And as those things are going wrong, it will actually guard itself. And it will just go on. It will continue. It will grow in places that you never even expected it to do. All right, until next week. It's Mishka saying goodbye.